What's up, guys? Welcome to the Line Change live stream. That was a bit of a tough pill to swallow there. Minnesota ends up defeating the Vancouver Canucks by a final score of 3-2 in overtime. So it keeps, their playoff chances were already. So this really helps their playoff chances for the Minnesota Wild. Obviously, if you're a Calgary fan, you're not going to be happy that the Wild won. The Canucks end up losing by a final score of 3-2. We're going to break it all down right here on the stream. Let's go ahead and dive right into our notes for the first period. Marcus Pettersson scores his fourth of the season, his first as a Vancouver Canuck, might I add, at 3:11, assisted by Carlson and Bluger. So Canucks go up 1-0 in this game. And then you had something a little bizarre. Connor Garland looked like he was trying to drop the gloves with Kirill Kaprizov. This was a little interesting. Honestly, and this is just my opinion, but hey, if Garland's saying, let's drop the gloves, Kaprizov, grow a set and drop the freaking gloves, dude. Like, I saw he was like cross-checking Garland and, kind of instigating him. It's like, answer the bell, dude. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then shortly after that, Minnesota was being a little chirpy and testy. There was some shoving going on. And then Teddy Bluger goes off for interference. Blatant interference call. Although I did think it was a little bit embellished by Zuccarello, as I thought he went down a little too softly, and that's just my personal opinion. The Canucks were crushing the Minnesota Wild in the faceoff dot, winning 15 faceoffs compared to the Wild's 3. So the Canucks were dominating in the faceoff dot in this game. On that note, the Minnesota Wild are one of the worst faceoff teams in the league. End of the first period, final shots were 12-6 in favor of Minnesota. So something that's been consistent all season long for the Vancouver Canucks is a very low shot total in the first period and being outshot by their opponents. Moving on to the second period. There was a big hit from Marcus Pettersson on Chisholm. The referees kind of like looked at it, and it was 100% a clean hit by Marcus Pettersson. Obviously, we do hope that Chisholm is okay, as he was helped off the ice. Canucks end up going 0-for-1 on the power play, and then the Canucks go on the power play for a second time. And then they end up converting on the power play as Jake DeBrusk scores his 27th of the season at 13:08 on the power play, assisted by Höglander and Quinn Hughes. So Quinn Hughes is now 1 point away from tying Alex Edler for most points as a defenseman. He's also 2 away from breaking that. Final shots in the period were 7-4 in favor of Minnesota. Obviously, in the second period, there wasn't a whole lot of chances between either team with the low shot total. Shots after 40 minutes were 19-10 in favor of Minnesota. Moving on to the third period, Brock Faber scores his 10th of the season at 22 seconds into the third period. Originally, there was an assist, but it was later, that assist was later taken away, and it was ruled that it was unassisted. And then we get into a little bit of controversy. I want to talk a little bit about this Forbort Trenin fight, and just a bit of a disclaimer. I might get a little animated here because I thought it was absolutely disgusting what Trenin did. There's a rule in hockey, or it's I don't know. Okay, maybe not a rule, but it's common sense in hockey. If both players touch the ice, the fight is over. And same thing with the referees. If the referees get in between, the fight is over. And then Trennan does a cheap shot, a cheap punch after the referee has already gotten in and attempted to break up the fight while forward is on the ice and sucker punches him. I'm sorry, but that is BS and gutless and disgusting. And Trennan better get a suspension for this. I mean, honestly, okay, maybe not. Maybe I don't want to go too far, but definitely warranted the game misconduct. Definitely warranted a suspension, and it was just ugly. There's no place for that in this game to see that. So that really had me fired up, and he better be suspended for a decent. And I'm not talking 1-2 game suspension. No, it should be at least 5 minimum suspension. And then seeing him getting all upset with the referees afterwards, and then acting like a freaking clown on the ice, being pulled back. It's like, dude, own up to your mistake. Get off the ice. Like, you're just making yourself look like a freaking clown by skating around and having a hissy fit because you got kicked out of the game for something you knew what you were doing. Clearly, he knew what he was doing when he punched him in the head. So there's my little rant. Apologies for that. But moving forward, there was a great save by Lankinen on Kirill Kaprizov, managing to stick the pad out. And then Foligno scores his 14th at 13-14, shorthanded, assisted by Hartman and Brazeau. And then we end up going to overtime. And the final shots in the third period were 13-4 in favor of Minnesota. Again, the shots are a huge issue for this team. And then overtime, Zuccarello scores his 19th at 2:47, assisted by Kaprizov to end the game. Shots in overtime were there was only one shot, and Minnesota made good on it. So final shots in the game were 33-14. Like, I'm sorry, but they really need to address shots next season. I mean, yes, some can say it's Rick Tocchet hockey. They want to play a defensive style game, but you also need some offense and need to get shots on goal. Like, that's how you win hockey games, is putting the puck in the net. And these low event shooting games just aren't doing it. So, and that's just my personal opinion on it. And then let's get into our 3 stars real quick. And then I'm going to opening it up to if there's anyone in the live stream for, comments and whatnot. So let's dive right into the 3 stars of the game. So our 3 stars of the game are presented by Dubby Energy. Use the code line change to get 10% off at the checkout. 3 stars of the game. I went with Quinn Hughes, Jake DeBrusk, and Niels Höglander. I had to pick this quickly as, the game was prolonged due to the overtime. Quinn Hughes with one assist, 1 point. Jake DeBrusk with the big goal, his only point. And then I gave Niels Höglander the 3rd star with 1 assist in the game as well. Hopefully our next live stream, the 3 stars will be a little bit better, but I just quickly picked them on the fly. That's sorry guys. There we go. No. There. Sorry. All right, let's open it up to the chat. We've got Big Hog first. Good to see you, buddy. I guess that's it. Let's look at the goal visualizer here. But before I do that, let me quickly do my sponsor, and then we'll dive right into the goal visualizer. So let me do, there it is. Are you looking for an energy drink that is jitter-free, crash-free, no sugars, no artificial colors or dyes, and no calories? Then Dubby Energy is for you. With over 15 plus unique custom-made flavors, go ahead and get a starter sampler pack, which includes 3 different flavors. Use code TheLineChange to get 10% off your next purchase. Dubby Energy, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. All right, let's get into the goal visualizer. Oop. There we go. So let me bring this up. Okay, so let's look at the Marcus Pettersson one, goal visualizer. So you can see there, pass up to Bluger, up to Carlson, and then Carlson over to Pettersson, walks right in and puts the puck in the net. Man, that was a beautiful goal from Marcus Pettersson. And it, I think they even said it on the broadcast. He looked like a certain other Pettersson, just walking in and then shooting it. And then let's move this to the Jake DeBrusk goal. There we go. Hughes with the puck, and then passes it over to Suter, to Besser, back to Hughes, to Hoglander, shoots it, and then DeBrusk with the tip. Beautiful goal from Jake DeBrusk there. And yeah, and then may as well look at the Minnesota ones too. Brock Faber. So Faber's, dumps the puck in. It's 14, and there's, I believe that's Boldy, and then there's Faber right there, puts a puck in the net. So I'm not too familiar with the numbers for the Minnesota players, so apologies for that. And then Matt Zuccarello in overtime. So puck was up the boards. Number 36 to Kaprizov there, who passes it over to Zuccarello. Okay, I'll give Zuccarello his props for that one. That was a beautiful goal. Let's reset that. There. Yeah, up the boards. I guess that was Zuccarello to Kaprizov, and then back to Zuccarello, and then he dekes out Lankinen, and that's the game. So there. Well, definitely. I thought the Canucks were close to winning it there. They end up losing the series. Two 2-1. Canucks had won the last game against the Wild back in March by a score of 3-1, and then obviously they lost December 3rd against the Wild in Minnesota. So they dropped both games in, or no. They dropped the game in Minnesota, and then win the game at home on the 7th, and then they dropped this one. But we already knew, they had won. They had managed to win the last 2 games. So obviously these are meaningless games, at least for the Vancouver Canucks. And we are now down to 2 final games of the season. All right. So, let's move. Boom. So the final. Actually, let's take a quick look at the game summary. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. Screw that. So yeah, Canucks end up losing. What I would definitely say was not their best game they played. Like we keep talking about the shots, which hopefully they are able to address in the off season. Perhaps picking up, some forwards in the off season, and they will be able to correct that. Obviously, this was the last time that we'll be seeing Marc-Andre Fleury, as he's retiring at the end of the season. Obviously, he did not play, but this was his last trip to Vancouver, technically. And I do know they did a nice little video package for Marc-Andre Fleury for those that were at the game. And yeah, Flower is going to go down as most certainly one of the best goaltenders of all time. And his longevity, and he's going to be right up there with the greats. I was a huge fan of Marc-Andre Fleury back in the day. Still am. And, he's had one heck of a career. And yeah, so. But all right, I think I'm going to cut this stream short this time. This was a bit of a rush start with how the game, being extended into overtime, and then obviously that big delay with the whole forward and Trennan thing. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this stream short, and hopefully I'll be able to do another live stream on Monday for the second to last game of the season, and then hopefully I'll be able to do it again for the final home game for the Canucks against the Vegas. Is it Vegas they play on Wednesday? Let me just quickly check that here. Yeah, they play Vegas on Wednesday and then the Sharks on Monday. So I'll try and do a live stream for either both of those games or maybe one of them. I might also try and see if I can get tickets to go to the Vegas game, but we'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it for this live stream. And I'll see you guys in the next video.